Big deal time, and I'm sitting here with RT correspondent Anya Parampil. And, I want to talk about this, that thousands of people took to the streets of the Venezuelan capital this week in what the opposition dubbed the taking of Caracas. The demonstrators are upset about the dwindling state of the economy and part of the push to hold a referendum on President Nicolas Maduro's leadership in January. So Anya's here to talk about that and tell us what it all means. My first question really is, what is the situation like in Venezuela right now, and how did it get to be the way that it is?
Right, well, Ed put it quite simply, the economy in Venezuela is not doing well at all, and really no one's arguing about that. We're talking about inflation rates at about 180%, 4 to 5 hour lines to access basic goods and services, even like health services or basic supplies in your grocery store, huge shortages. But this is part of a problem that's been going on for about 3 years. The country has been in recession. And if you want to talk about what got to that point, that's where people disagree more. I mean, many will tell you that energy prices and the fact that commodities, the market as a whole has gone down internationally has really affected the government, because obviously Venezuela funds much of its social state with money that it gets from selling oil on the international market. However, there's also the problem in Venezuela that energy is basically free. Talking about electricity and gas for the average Venezuelan, they don't pay. And the government ends up spending about 11% of GDP to provide that. So that might be something they have to reconsider. It's a huge part of GDP. But then there's also the decision by the Maduro government to tie the bolivar to the dollar and set the price at a fixed rate of about 10 bolivars to the dollar, which in reality is super overvalued, or it's an undervalued
Overvalued, exactly.
Yes, that's what I was right the first time. Overvalued currency, because there's a black market that has emerged as a result and really skyrocketed in over the past few years. In October of 2012, you could get for $1, you'd get about 12 bolivars. Now it's about 1,000. So this leads to inflation. All types of, it also feeds into corruption and the types of problems they're having now, where they can't pay to provide some of the services they're used to.
And like the example that you gave about no wares. I mean, if I'm selling stuff and there's some sort of ridiculous price of 10 to 1, to the dollar, basically you're just making shortages happen. I mean, it's definitely the case.
Exactly. I mean, it's really why we're seeing, you talk about long grocery store lines or not having toilet paper. It all boils down to the fact that the currency situation is just out of control.
Well, let me ask you, what's the political impact specifically of the protests that we're seeing right now?
Well, what's significant, Ed, to remember is that in most countries where the economy would be suffering this much, you wouldn't expect the government to be very unpopular. And so we've seen thousands of people take to the streets in Caracas this week calling for the referendum to be held as soon as possible. The opposition wants it to be held before January so that they have a chance to hold elections. If there's a referendum after January 10th, it just means the vice president will serve out the rest of Maduro's term. So they're in a push to get it there. But it is important to note that since the government took a hold of the oil reserves in 2003 and under the leadership of Chavez, we did see a huge improvement in the economy. We saw poverty reduced by half, extreme poverty reduced by 2/3. For some public workers, getting pensions tripled, access to higher education and healthcare has been improved for millions. And so even though we've seen this 3 years of like a bad economic picture, it hasn't damaged that overall progress. And so there is still a huge base of support for Maduro. The Maduro's party did win 41% of the parliamentary vote last December. And while much of the media has focused on opposition protests in Caracas, there have also been rallies in support of Maduro in front of the Miraflores Palace there, where he lives.
We only have like 20 seconds, but I think you already answered this about the January the 10th. What's that all about?
January the 10th, that's the date that the opposition wants wants to hold the referendum before, like I said, otherwise it would be a continuation of Maduro's party. The vice president would stay in power. It would still be this legacy of Chavismo living on. And at this point, these protests are trying to get it. That's why we're seeing such a push in the streets. But it's still unclear if they'll even get the referendum in time.
Doesn't sound that great, but that's all for now, everyone. We also love hearing from you.